Alright, today we're going to be looking at an Onkyo mini receiver. It's a model R-805. You can see that there we go. This is sort of an oddball model. They had them in hospitals and they were available with CD players, mini disc players. The ones in Japan even had equalizers. This one here and all of the ones of the same model have an issue where after a while you go to plug it in, or maybe it's just sitting there, and you get this. Let me plug it in and show you. Boy, isn't that annoying. No standby light, no screen, can't turn it on. Very annoying little relay clicking in there, not turning on. Let me show you the back of this thing. These are actually pretty nice little receivers. Let me unplug that because that gets really annoying really quickly. These things have a decent power output, and they've got a lot of different inputs for CD player and tape player, mini disc player, line in, DVD, whatever you want to connect to it. Even has a subwoofer pre-out. These are pretty nice little units if you can find one. The mini disc players and tape players are kind of hard to find for these, but they are out there. Well, let's get started. See what we can do here. I actually know what the problem is on it, so it's going to be more of just a tutorial than anything. There is a small capacitor in the standby circuit that goes bad in these things and causes the horrible clicking. Get that out of the way. Alright, look at that there. Get down in this thing. And as you can see, it's pretty jam-packed in there, and that's actually part of the problem. Look down here, you'll see a bunch of power resistors around in this area. There's a capacitor right here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to get a little bit closer here. The ribbon cable in the way there. It is C919 right there, and that little thing kind of gets overheated and causes it to start clicking. And the only thing that we can do, well, it's probably a good idea to replace a lot of capacitors while you're in here, but to be honest, I've always just replaced this capacitor. I've repaired several of these units, and I've just always replaced that one and never had an issue. It's mainly because this resistor right here is normally sitting just like that, and they're almost touching, and this thing gets so hot that it basically just dries the capacitor out. So usually what I do is just kind of bend that thing over a little bit and make sure the capacitor is farther away from it, and after that I've never really had a problem. Now the only thing is, getting into this, to get to the bottom of it, you pretty much have to take it all apart. So let's get started on that. It's not too awful bad, and I'll show you how to go about that to make it not so horrible to get apart. All these screws are the same size, just the ones that hold the board on the inside are a different color. All the ones on the outside are black, and they're all the same size, so let's take all these out. I do have the CD player that goes with this unit, and it has got some bad belts in it, so it will work if you force it, but what's going on is the tray will open and sometimes the disc sort of gets stuck. So I may do a video on putting a new belt in that. That'll probably be a little interesting there. And these are those copper colored screws that they use for the hold the board down on the inside. It would probably help to have a magnetic screwdriver. I do have one, I'm just not using it right now. So what we'll do, pop the knob off the front, and there's a couple screws in there. Clip on the front there, pop this off, another clip on this side. It's kind of crazy to have to do all this to get to that one capacitor underneath, but it seems like to me there was a model that did have a panel underneath that you could take off, but not this one. Making a mess here. Let me get this power cord out of the way. As a matter of fact, I can just unplug this power cord. Just like that. Make it a lot easier. There's a screw way down in there that holds the other part of the heatsink. That screw is kind of hard to get to. Let's get that out of the way. This really looks like a mess, but it's not really that bad. Pretty much taken the screws out of the board and also the screws out of the transformer. And then what we can do is take the entire thing off. Well, almost. Got a wire tie on this side right here. Then we can look the whole entire thing out. Look at that. That way we can then flip the whole entire board over, and then we can see the circuit board. Put that out of the way. And look at that. We got kind of a glare. Be sure to hold the transformer because we don't want to break anything here. Alright, so that capacitor that we're after is right in front of the bridge rectifier, And in between that and that little post that holds up the ribbon cable, and so it's going to be right here. I'm going to go ahead and take a screw out over here that holds the outlet into the back panel. That'll allow it to come out a little bit so we're not flexing that other board unnecessarily. Go ahead and plug in my desoldering tool that I had in another video. Go ahead and heat that up. I'll try to zoom in a little bit here so we can see better what's going on. I'll move this up. That capacitor we're after is right here. I'm actually going to take my iron here just so I can bend these leads up a little. Some of these things, when they put them in the board, they actually bend the leads up to hold the component while they solder it. It's hard to get at with one hand here. Go ahead and flip this whole thing back over. I'm going to reach down in there and pop that out. And this is a 85C, 47 microfarad at 50 volt. And I'm going to put a Nichicon 47 microfarad 50 volt as 100C, which it's better to have higher temperature capacitors in there. Like I said, feel free to go ahead and put all new capacitors in here if you want. I've had really good luck with these little units, just putting this one in here. Bend the leads over on the back there. And the little white dot on the board is the negative on the capacitor. Be sure to observe polarity and do not put it in backwards because you will not like it. And we're going to go ahead and flip this whole thing back over again. Clip off the excess here. You can see how this whole entire board right here is a little bit dark from all the heat over the years from those power resistors. When you're in there, it's a good idea to look for any bad solder joints and touch those up. On these that I've repaired, I've actually not really seen any other bad ones, but you always want to check just because there's always that possibility. I'll zoom back out there. And now what I'm going to do is pull this back. Grab our bottom here. And carefully grab the entire board and put it back inside the stereo. Just line everything back up. This side is not wanting to go down. Kind of helps to stand up and look over it. Got that all lined back up. And by doing it as one whole piece like that, you don't have to worry about separating all the boards and all that. Just be careful lifting it up and it'll all be good. Kind of separate these ribbon cables so I can see the screw holes. Alright, I grabbed a screwdriver that I magnetized to make this a whole lot easier putting back together. Putting this back together, I'm going to put the screws in, put all the screws in to the board, but I'm not going to tighten it down until I get all of them in. Because there is some play in the screw holes, and it would be very aggravating to get almost all the screws in and then not be able to get some of them in. The back ones here, I'm going to go ahead and put those all the way in because the back is keyed, so there's really no play in it, but with the main board there is. I just realized I think I put too many in on the back here. Yep, because these here, these two actually go on with the cover. Okay, I've got all the transformer screws in. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten those down. Go ahead and tighten all the board screws and the screws for the heatsink. get the ones in here for the volume knob. Let's see, there's one more that goes here on the side. Grab our power cord, put it in that side first, and then clip it down. Got there. I'll tuck the ribbon cables back in. I'll go ahead and plug it in. Hey, look at that, no clicking. And it turns on. Look at that. Alright, I went ahead and put the top back on and connected some speakers to it and a CD player. And let's give it a try here. Turn it on. Really can't see the screen too well. Let me turn my light down so you can see the front. And there we go. Working good. Turn it off. And no more of the click, 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 click. Turn it on there. There it goes. Alrighty. Well, that's about the end of this video. So please like and subscribe. And there will be some more videos coming. I'm going to try to get a video of the CD player that goes with this stereo. Got the belts that I need to put in that. Probably try to get that one up. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.